All right. I'm Brent Leary.
Paul Greenberg.
We are the CRM players, barely. We made it.
I know. In fact, I'm almost sure where the CRM play is still.
Oh, would you rather be back in Vegas?
No, God, no.
We are back home from Vegas, from PegaWorld 25. Lots of stuff to talk about, lots of things we saw. Maybe a little tease in the some of the stuff that we did out there. But in the meantime, it is the CRM players, and guess what? We're doing it. We're bringing the as. Gotta make sure we say that. Gotta make sure we pronunciate those Z's.
We really don't even know what that means, though.
And we might not ever find out, but at least it's a catchy thing to say.
We just know the only thing we know is Austin holds the key.
And we don't even know which Austin that would be.
Right. Or where he is currently.
Or quite honestly, who he is. Because if he walked up, if he knocked on my door right now and said, "Hi, I'm Austin," I'd be like, and
no, I think we'd recognize him.
You maybe.
Yeah, I would.
I'm not good with stuff.
I'm okay when I see somebody. If somebody says, "Hi, I'm so and so," their face clicks into place and I'm good. If somebody says hi, and I go, "Oh, who's that again?" Right, who's that? I don't know.
So-and-so.
Hi, so good to see you.
Well, it was good to, I was going to say good to be in Vegas.
No, it's good to be at PegaWorld.
It was good to be at PegaWorld. Absolutely.
Definitely not good to be in Vegas.
That was like your first event of the year, like face to face, wasn't it? Outside of ours, of course.
Yeah. I actually did a little check before I went there on how many conferences and or summits that I was likely to be invited to that I missed, and it was 11.
Dang, 11.
Well, you went to about 9. I think there's one or two other ones beside that.
Yeah, I think so. Somewhere, I don't know.
Don't forget, I'm counting analyst summits in there, not just conferences.
Oh, right. Absolutely.
Right. So adding it up, it was 11. So, and this was the first one. And when I got to Vegas, I remembered why it was only the first one.
Okay. But everybody was so happy to see you.
Oh, and vice versa. And I made a couple of new friends while we were there and had some good conversations with a lot of people. That was nice. I mean, it's very nice. But, I could do that without a conference.
Well, this show is going to be a little bit different. We don't have any particular guests, but we've got so much that has gone on in the last couple of weeks. And last week I had to pull out because I don't know if anybody out there who has ever had what the dentists like to call deep cleaning. I like to call it hell.
I like to call it Marathon Man.
Yeah, I saw Sir Laurence Olivier with a pair of pliers hovering over me, and it was just, I never had one. Have you ever?
Oh yeah, no. I've always had really, due to my own negligence, I've always had bad teeth. Right. In fact, right now my teeth are great because none of them are mine. Right. See, look how light they are. Because all of them, that is literally total top and bottom replaced.
Wow.
But deep cleaning was always, I'd get it once. I get cleaned twice a year. I get deep cleaned one of the 4 in 2-year period.
And
yeah,
I don't want to go through that again.
No, it's horrible actually, and it's painful, and you have to have the Novocaine, and when the Novocaine wears off, it still hurts.
I was prepared to get, a shot in the gums or whatever you call it.
Mm-hmm.
After the 5th shot.
Yep. You know why?
There's got to be a better way to this.
They're covering all a really big area, so the Novocaine is very local. I mean, it's very narrow. It's narrow.
Yeah.
Impact. So they go, and then they go to the edge. Basically, they're doing it to try to minimize the pain to you. They're going to where they punched the Novocaine in already, and but moving it over to, you know,
Yeah, I have to
moving it.
say it didn't feel all that
No, it's horror. It's just horrendous.
and it even tasted bad. I mean, there was a
Yeah.
weird taste to that. Oh,
Wonder which one of the canes you had.
I wish it was Big Daddy, but it was something. I don't know what it was. I'm just
Michael.
glad. I'm just glad.
Michael Caine.
Yeah, I'm just glad that a week later my mouth seems to be back in good working order, no pain. Uh, and I have to say my gums feel like they're back to normal. So
And you have no cavities, right?
I never had a cavity in my life.
That is absolutely astounding.
Yeah, and they're like, you go in there and they take the X-rays and he's got all his teeth. I'm like, yeah. Were you expecting something else?
Yeah, I probably was.
Well, I'm hoping this will help me keep them for as long as I, can have them. So I'm glad to be back. Glad to be back.
Glad to have you back.
Yeah, and it was our first time this year doing like both of us in the same place at the same time.
Yep. Well, outside again, always outside of IRL.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. I mean, you've been to a lot of conferences, but I just, I'm done with all that, which is nice, actually. Although I will tell you, it was kind of a nice break to talk to people at Pega and some of the, the interesting thing with the Pega analyst crowd was most of those analysts are not, it was you, me, Liz, and Brian and Keith. I think of the 5 analysts there who kind of hang out at the same conferences.
Did you? Yeah, you said Brian, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You, me, Liz, Brian, and Keith. Those 5.
I think that was pretty much it.
Yeah,
Adrian Swinsko would have been there, but
right.
He's recovering, so we had him join us for the for our what do we do 2 watch parties? Yeah, 2 watch parties.
Yeah. But everyone else was kind of new. I'm blocking her last name because it's unusual. Serena, who's a kind of a she's like a British contemporary. I'm saying contemporary because it's like a new publication. I'm blocking the name of that too. It'll come to me. She's she's a very nice person. We had a nice chat on the very last evening before the thing went. Now we're friends on LinkedIn, hooked up on LinkedIn.
Nice.
We're going to actually catch up a little more next week. Her publication's kind of seems to be kind of enterprise tech focused.
Sort of like a Diginomica kind of thing? Or?
Well, not exactly. I don't quite understand it fully. Hold on a minute. I will do one quick thing here. S-E-R-E-N. There. Her last name is sort of Hawaiian almost. It's Serena Hathotua. And she's a reporter it's called Future Week. Let me just check Future Week.
Future Week. That sounds like a good conference name. It's Future Week.
Yeah, no, it actually is. And well, let me see if I can find anything about Future Week itself. No, not really. Future Week magazine. I think Future Week magazine. I guess that must be it. Home Future Week. Here we go.
Future Week magazine.
I'm not sure this is it. Here's something called Future Week. Yeah, I mean here, Amazon. It's AI data centers. It's a lot. It's very AI focused.
Well, what a shock.
And they do seem to have a lot. Like here, they're having an event, Future Week Live, June 17th in Cannes, France, at Maria Restaurant. Oh, there's another Maria. There's one in New York. It's fantastic.
Oh, I see her article. I think it's her article on the homepage because there's a big picture of Alan.
Yeah, right there it is.
In between a whole bunch of pink flamingos, which is kind of
CEO on not letting AI agents run riot.
Serena
Hathotua. Yeah. So this is it. And obviously, if you look at it, every article, it's AI.
Oh,
AI.
I thought AI.
Yeah. Although it has some AI like B2C type stuff, Netflix invasive embraces AI generated gaming after axing AAA studio. I don't
Can
know.
you go scroll down? If you click on her name, so you can see all her articles. There's once you do that, go down to the third column or row, I
Okay.
guess,
Yep.
and look at the picture of Sam Altman and that other dude. It
Oh
kind of
my
looks
God. I know. Oh, that's so sweet.
BFFs.
I know.
It just looks weird. I
It
don't
really
know.
is very strange.
Anyway, I have to check it out. I mean, remember back in the day. Um, Speaking of kind of like UK focused sites, remember what was that one where our buddy worked for all those years?
Which man, which buddy, and what man? What do you mean?
I'm trying to think of both the name and the buddy. Remember in the UK there was only really a couple that we. Oh my gosh, this is like years ago,
I
and then
mean, there's Jeremy Cox.
no, this is a like an online publication. Um,
Oh, Neil Davey.
yeah, Neil Dave. What was the place that he worked at?
Um, oh, for God's sake.
Something customer.
Yeah, no, I know. How could I forget that? And we talked to them for years.
Something word customer. I can't think of it right now.
Well,
I
hold
think
on.
it. I think, but it's definitely Neil Davey. We
Yeah,
used to do a lot of, a pretty significant amount of stuff with them over the years.
yeah, I know.
Um,
We did. Remember, we did that conference in London with him.
exactly. Yeah. It's
Hold on.
I can't remember it. It's something
It
customer.
was. Uh, it was. Well, it was SIF Public. SIF, my customer.
My customer. That's it. My customer. Whew.
Neil's now doing content marketing at Siemens Health and Nears.
Yep. He was a good guy.
He's a
To work
great
with.
guy.
Yeah. But yeah, my customer. I haven't looked at that since he left. Basically.
No, me either. Well, he made it. He was the one who actually made it into the great publication it was. You know what? We should do a show where we bring on like the journalists. You know,
Why
bring
not?
on like Neil, bring on here Serena, bring on well, John Reed. I don't know how to classify him.
Brohammer. That's it.
Yeah, he's just Brohammer. So he's a different, probably a different breed. But find like the people who are doing like core like journalism writing, and bring them on and do a show with them.
Yeah, that might be interesting, but quite honestly, a lot of this stuff is blurred because I mean, if you're a writer, I guess there's still some kind of important differences between like a beat writer or industry writer versus an industry analyst. It seems like those lines are blurred a lot.
Well, it's because honestly, they ultimately are dealing with a person who one way or the other is shaping opinion. Even though, look, I grew up in the old world of journalism because that's my degree is in that, and the world was unbiased. But the actual thing we're taught is, look, we try to be unbiased, but we're not. So don't fight it. Just do
Yeah.
right. Right. So, and that's always the case. So, look, who was a perfect example when David Myron was running CRM Magazine? I don't know how many times I told him you should just be an analyst. And now, guess what he is? As you know, an
Right.
analyst.
Well, that's
Right?
like Mila D'Antonio. too.
D'Antonio. Yeah, exactly.
So it's like all these things have kind of just have mushed together because of what's going on with all the social stuff.
Well, it goes to and the way the vendors treat it is always interesting when the smart vendors pretty much put it together like Salesforce is influence. Let's face it, they don't really have AR and AR isn't separate from media. They have influencer relations. Zoho, same thing. The pioneer of that was Mei Lee. She was the first one to do it, man. I remember back at Mei Lee, for those who don't know her, is absolutely one of the great VP of corporate communications person in the history of our world. She was a real pioneer. I mean, she was at NetSuite for years, and in the early days of NetSuite, she was the first one I ever met, the first, who actually put together like journalists and analysts and other kinds of influencers in a single group. And it was absolutely one of the best things. I want to say I met Adrian Swinsko there, or maybe it was Jeremy. I can't remember. One of the two or both at NetSuite. I can't remember though. But people who would, people, and a lot of these people who are journalists are opinionated journalists, right? An editorial writer could be an analyst. I mean, let's face it, but they just went a different route. That's all, and got, but that was, to me, the smart companies now have figured, in effect, taken what Meili did and have built around that, even if they don't know Meili did it. And that right now, the two that have done it the best are Salesforce and Zoho.
Yeah, I would go with that. One of the things I wanted to touch on before we dig in a little bit to some of the stuff that went on with Pega, a little housekeeping. I think I said it right. Housekeeping. So this week was Vegas. Next week, well, for me it's Chicago. For you, it's virtual again.
Yeah.
so yeah, Salesforce Connection, Chicago. Another biggie. I think they said they're gonna have over 10,000 or something like that.
I think it was somewhere between 8 and 10,000.
Yeah, something like that. So that's gonna be a significant one. And in addition to me going out there, and I think I am doing I'm supposed to be doing a few good minutes with Bobby Jania.
He is such a good guy, man.
Yeah, but what is he looking over his shoulder at?
I don't know.
Like somebody watching him, like what was that Rockwell song? Somebody's watching. He's kind of like looking over his.
I don't know. He's got that smile is kind of frightening.
But he is the CMO of Salesforce Marketing Cloud. I did a few good minutes before the pandemic. Wow, this is like 7 or 8 years ago, and I think that was maybe one of my very first entitled few good minutes, and it was with Mr. Janya, and it was good. So I'm looking forward to that.
We've done a couple of plays with him, I think on panels and stuff. I think, if I remember,
I think
one or two.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, he's a great guy, and he's really smart, and this is a new role for him, though.
Well, I think he was that last year.
Yeah, I mean, since we've had him on anything.
Oh yeah, well before. I mean, everybody when they come on our show, they get promotions for something.
Yeah, that's part of the deal.
Well, you know what my first question is going to be? What are you looking at? What's over your shoulder?
He said, "I saw my prey." That's what's scaring me. It's like he's just, there's my prey. I've got them.
So we'll be doing, I think, at least one watch party.
I hope so. I have a key doctor's appointment at some point on that day, and I literally don't know what time it is. I only remember the doctor, and for some reason I'd completely forgotten about it, and then it came to my mind. Oh, it's June 11th. That's the day, and you only go see this doctor once every 6 months at the most. Right. So you have to set up 6 months in advance. And if you don't do it, it's at least probably 4 months before you get another appointment.
Wow.
Yeah. She's a busy person. She's good, though.
Yeah. She's in demand.
Yeah. She's good.
The keynote is, let's see. I think it's, if I could find it, would be nice if they made it really easy to find stuff like that.
I'm assuming 9 o'clock Chicago time, no?
I think that's usually what it is.
Yeah, they're not unreasonable at Salesforce. They don't do keynotes at like 7:30 or 8 or 6 p.m. at night.
That's kind of funny because I know who does, who did one at 8:30 in the morning.
Yeah,
or thereabouts. I think it was 8:30. I don't know. So yeah, well, if you have to go to the doc, I'm sure like maybe Rebecca and some other folks might be able to hold it down. Or
are they going to be? Is Rebecca going to be there?
Yeah, she'll be there, and I think the Brohammer will be there too.
So. Yeah, and maybe Fawcett will be there too. I don't know.
But yeah, I think he'll be there too.
Yeah, so that you got enough of the PPN network family.
Yes, it's like we're like ESPN, but spelled with a P and no
That's
S.
right. This is PPN.
Anyway, so yeah, to be on the lookout. We'll let you know when all that stuff goes down. All right. So we did a couple of watch parties this week. So and I'm in the middle of trying to kind of put up a video of what we're trying to do with these watch parties is, we don't think it most people are able to watch the whole thing. So what we're
Yeah.
trying to do is make it as easy as possible for folks to kind of get a taste of what we thought. And what's cool about it is it's just not you and me. It's, four or five, sometimes six people.
Yep.
And I have to admit, I really enjoy the conversations. I mean, it's cool watching with a group of people, and I really enjoy when we're able to, kind of do our first impressions of what we heard and
Yeah,
see
and,
what
and
everybody else says.
I'm with you. I love. Well, I know Alan Berkson really likes watching, even though he's not usually on the screen. He's in the but he's watching with us. And I get that because you basically it feels like sitting around with your friends and you're making occasional snarky comments while it's going on and passing the popcorn, so to speak, and then you're starting to put together some stuff so it works that on the one hand there's kind of these some commentary in real time and then there's kind of summations and overviews and back and forth, but it really feels like just sort of a get together.
Well, isn't it fun watching the Super Bowl? Well, I mean, if the Rams are, I ain't watching with nobody.
Yeah.
But if people love getting together for big events and having a shared experience and not only seeing and hearing what they think, but it's also really cool to hear what other people think and how other people you're watching the same thing, but how people take in the exact same thing differently and from their perspective. And so I think it's actually a little more interesting than like just me sitting there in front of a mic saying what I thought
I'm with you.
versus well, you didn't have to say it as quickly as that,
No,
but
I meant me. I meant me, not you.
but I think it's so much more interesting having a conversation with people who watch the exact same thing and hearing their perspective. Because sometimes, I'll see something one way, and a couple of the other folks might see it a whole other way, and it makes me open up my aperture. I guess I'll use that term.
Wow.
How but it does give you the opportunity to actually think about it a little slightly different way, and it might lead you to other directions about things or rethink something. So I think that's really cool, and I'm glad that we have a network of people basically that we can pull in and really get some varied perspectives and more than just a talking head kind of thing.
Oh yeah. Well, the other side of it too is think about it. It was you, me, Brian, Rebecca, and Adrian, and three of us were there, and two of us were not, which also allows us to bring two people in. In this case, Rebecca and Adrian, who was coming, but something came up, unfortunately, that prevented him from coming. So allows them to get a view of what's going on and chat with people back and forth and communicate to the world about it too, about what's going on there. So they're part of the group anyway.
And we even went a little step further because we forgot another person that was there that's in our group, Liz Miller. How can we forget Liz Miller?
Well, no, we didn't forget her. She couldn't do it. Remember,
No, I mean,
she.
like we didn't name when we were naming the people that were there.
Oh, just now, yeah. Okay.
So, but Liz was, we were although we were in Vegas, we went back to our room so we could do the watch party, and so Liz was actually in the room with all the stuff going on. So Liz, basically, we transformed Liz into our floor correspondent.
Yeah, and it was great. She was well. For those of you who know Liz, you know how both cogent and funny she is, right? So, and she was
She's
just sending us
Koja
these
funny.
hilarious comments, but they were actually like on the money, in terms of what was going on.
We
It
could
was
call her Fungent. Funny.
no weed. That sounds absolutely awful. Oh my God, that is like such a horrible thing.
And we have our Fungent correspondent.
No, sounds like a combination of fungible and pungent.
It doesn't really work very
No,
well.
it really doesn't work. It's
But you
like,
know what works well? Saying hello to Sahil.
hey, my friend. Hey, Sahil is engaged, getting married in November. Congrats,
Oh,
man.
congratulations. All right.
He and his
No,
wife to be will make a wonderful couple, guaranteed.
November isn't that far off
I
either.
think no, no, no.
Very nice. So anyway, we do have, like I said, we're gonna have and we're in our partnership over at CRM Magazine. We'll put our little first impressions video up, and we'll point you to it. And so it's not just you and me. It's you, me, Brian Summer, and of course, if you know Brian at all,
Yeah.
Brian has his own way of delivering his own unique insights.
Yes.
It's like unique insights, unique storytelling of those unique
It's
insights.
Brian Summers, played by Will Rogers.
And I like to call him the cowboy because
Yeah.
not only do you get the unique insights and the unique storytelling, you get the unique accent too. So you get
He's a Texan. He's a definite Texan. He is a great guy, though. He's such a great guy. I love that man. And he's one of the smartest analysts in the business.
Yeah. But who would have thunk Brian would point us to a video of Pavarotti and James Brown?
Did you watch that thing, by the way?
It was not what I expected.
No.
It was way better than what I expected.
Oh yeah, it was phenomenal. Actually,
it was. I thought it was like it was going to be like a joke video.
Yeah.
Not at all. You can see there's mutual respect.
Oh yeah.
From both of those guys, and they were doing their own thing. It wasn't like they were trying to do each other's thing.
No, but somehow the whole thing just worked.
It worked. Well, did you see how many views that thing has?
No, I didn't.
Like 121 million views.
You know what? I'm not actually surprised. It's like it's that video. It's funny. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I'd never heard of it until just then. It's classic.
Yeah,
it really is a classic level.
Who would have thought? I mean, and then the other Brian thing that was really interesting. He's telling us we need to watch this. Was like the Real House Bros of I forget where they're from, California, Southern California. Yeah. I'm like, what did you have Brian Summer picked as somebody watching reality TV?
No. No. And that one though, I will not take him up on.
Yeah, I'm not down with the House Bros or the whatever that is.
You know what's amazing about Pega, by the way? You know how often you and I are always surprised when we meet people who actually watched us? I'm not joking. I must have ran into 15 people like that. I was meeting at one point in a one-on-one conversation with John Higgins, who is running customer success and partnerships for Pega, and he's watched us. I mean, it's like, or what that guy, I don't remember his last name. I'm blocking it, unfortunately. It's just my fault because it's a name that I wouldn't have pronounced well. Sandeep, who runs Asia for them.
Oh,
yeah, you met. Yeah, remember we met him in the elevator, in the lobby of the elevator. Yeah. He's watched us multiple times, right? And I bumped into him again on an elevator again, and we talked about that. He said, "Oh, I've seen you guys plenty." Right. So, I mean, there were like other people. Every time I meet someone new, they'd go, "Oh, Paul Greenberg." And I said, "Yeah, I do a show with Brent Leary called CRM Playaz." He goes, "Oh, I know who you guys are." That would happen. That happened so often. It was astounding.
It's kind of sometimes a little unnerving because it's like,
well,
I'm not used. I'm still not used to that kind of stuff.
No, and we never will be. But that's okay.
No, yeah, at least they're not coming up and hitting us or anything.
Yeah, that's right. I watch you. I hate you.
Yeah,
I watch you guys. I hate you.
Hey, you. You know. So, so I wanted to do a little bit around, not the full blown reviews that we did, but I think for me at least the most unique thing that I saw this conference that I really haven't seen from any other conference. I mean, everybody's talking about AI. You can insert agentic or generative or adaptive. I heard somebody say adaptive somewhere down the line.
Adaptive.
I thought I heard that, or I don't know. But everybody's talking about how and even like I think it was ServiceNow where they rolled out this partnership about ServiceNow and Nvidia working on being able to ingest PDFs and then do stuff with it. So and we've everywhere I've gone, everybody's talking about how the different kinds of content that they can get into their agent tool to kickstart things. But this was the first time at PegaWorld that I saw they weren't just talking about documents or PowerPoints or pick any other kind of text kind of format. They actually showed ingesting a video, and the video was actually like a commentator or a moderator talking about what this COBOL program, what it does. So I got a little clip because this was a demo on stage. It was a live demo from Karim Akınal, who is their chief product officer. We just love the guy.
Yeah.
He's
a wonderful guy.
Absolutely. So I'm going to play this because I think this sets the tone a little bit, because as I said, I've never seen this all year long, not this particular way. So check out Karim here.
Legacy application.
Oops,
it's a COBOL application, and I'm going to actually show you a quick video.
Let me start that again because I want everybody to see that.
Wow, he looks just like Bobby Janian.
Walking through, I have a legacy application. It's a COBOL application, and I'm going to actually show you a quick video, very short, of somebody walking through this application. Some of you might remember these types of solutions. And let's see this narration.
I can enter the account number for the account I want to update.
Now, this is a video, a moderator walking through a COBOL program video.
FICO score and others. I can choose any field to change. So I will change the credit limit and hit enter. If I press F5, I will save the changes I made back to the database. I can go to the account view screen and verify that the credit limit was changed. I see that it was updated to the new value and worked properly.
So we'll let that go in. The good news is you don't have to watch the whole thing. You don't have to listen to the whole thing. This is just a quick video of someone sitting in front of a 3270 COBOL application and going through the motions, going through the actions of taking basically all the operations of the application in place and narrating it, explaining what they're doing. We're going to pop in here, and I'm going to take that video.
This is amazing.
And I'm going to pop in here. I'm going to take that AWS transform, and I am going to click on this button, and I'm going to let Blueprint start doing the analysis of all of that content. And the agents are going to ask a series of specific questions to those assets to understand what's in there, to basically get to a summary of a summary, and then overall give us a recommendation for a layout of a blueprint. So now our agents basically realize that this is a banking application in retail banking operations. It figured out that this was a credit card management. What Blueprint will do is, as part of its analysis, it will figure out all the elements that are going to be central.
This is real time, by the way.
Version of this application. So it comes back and it says, we have 4 workflows around credit limit adjustment, around profile maintenance, some transaction updates and billing updates. And as you all very well know, it's going to give us an end-to-end process recommendation of how that can be modernized in Pega.
All right, so I just thought that was really something that I hadn't seen before. We've seen, sorry, Kareem, I gotta let you go here. So we had seen all sorts of different kinds of formats, companies saying they can ingest those formats, PDFs, Word documents, PowerPoint presentations, all that kind of stuff. But that was a video of somebody talking about what this COBOL program does. And he ingested that, and I think he ingested like a PDF of like a manual or something like that. So it's you take all the stuff, but including video now, and look what happened. Just a click of the button, and now they kick off this this project to a running start. It's not just some nice documents or some nice recommendations, but you can actually, as they like to say, go in the end. And I thought that was cool. We're going to see a lot more of that, not just from Pega, but that was the first one I saw like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, part of that goes, I think, to the fact that it's interesting. I was thinking about it, like, what is Blueprint actually parsing there? And I thought, okay, there's two things. One is parsing the audio, which is the process being described, and two is parsing the video, which is how the thing looks on the screen. And then I'm assuming the sort of combined aspect of that, meaning, things are happening while the audio is occurring. It's watching, watching and figuring out that too. And that's insanely hard. It's like I remember thinking on the plane back, what if I'm sitting there with that screen and I'm describing something else entirely on the audio? What would happen? Well, I don't know. I mean, it would probably be wrong. I mean, something would come out wrong. The AI I don't think is designed to, question the accuracy of the audio particularly.
Well, yeah, but it takes the audio and then it has to create a transcript from it.
Right.
I'm sure it's a time code of who's saying what when they're saying it, and that's all part of the transcription, because then that becomes another piece of text that they can analyze along with the PDFs and all the other the PowerPoints and all that stuff.
But they also have to take into account what the visual is too.
Yeah.
Because if it says first you enter your name and then you see it putting in a date or something like that, it's going to have to. I'm guessing Blueprint is probably sophisticated enough to say, wait a minute, that's a date field. It's reading, in other words, viewing the video. I love Blueprint. I really do. I didn't see anything throughout the entire conference to make me love it any less than I already did.
Well, it seems like that's kind of like the updated foundation is based all around Blueprint.
Yeah. Well, I mean, think about it. They were talking about this, and this is an actual number. They're doing a release a week.
Yeah.
A release a week, 52 releases a year for that thing. And what they've done though is they've got so many templated use cases built into it. It's enormous part. And here's the deal. So the other thing that really impressed me, and even though it wasn't made a big deal of, it was made a bit of a deal. Blueprint was, okay, I'm a company, I'm using Blueprint. I go to Pega.com and I start using it. The only data Pega sees is whatever I name my project and my email. Beyond that, anything, I could give it that video and I could give it that PDF file and I could give it sensitive data, and Pega doesn't see any of that. It works on it, but Pega doesn't have any visibility into the data, which means my privacy is protected too, which is pretty phenomenal. And you'd almost wonder how hard it was just to do that, because Pega still has to run the Blueprint. So it's really exceptional. I mean, look, when push comes to shove, if Pega's making a lot of bets on it, right? They're basically betting in part betting their future on Blueprint succeeding, and you know what? They got a hell of a shot there.
Well, and it builds on their strengths. I mean, they're traditionally BPM before they were customer engagement, and I really do think that companies like Pega and Creatio and ServiceNow, who are really so heavy on process and workflows and automations, that sets a really solid foundation for where we're going, or seemingly where we're going with AI. So it feels like Pega, and they've been 41 years in the making, and I kept on thinking during Alan's presentation, and it's reinforced with Karim and Don, that every year Alan comes out and talks about layer cake and center out, and all the stuff that they're showing, Blueprint, and even last year when they were talking about Socrates and the Knowledge Buddy and all that kind of stuff, and then how they built on top of Blueprint, which only was out for a year. It literally came out last year this time, and to see what they've done with it, but it's all still centered or grounded in layer cake approach, center out, and workflows and processes.
That's always why the corporate narrative's also been so consistent, right? Because everything they've ever done from day one of their 41 years of existence has been that. And they don't lose, excuse me, they don't lose sight of it either, which is the other side.
Well, sometimes it feels like when you go to some of these conferences and everybody is talking about the same thing, that a lot of them, I'm not going to say most, but a lot of them, they don't tie it back to what they've been doing before this moment.
No.
It's almost like paying no attention to what we talked about last year. It's a new year, and we're going to talk about this because that's what everybody else talks about. Whereas with Pega, you can actually see a line going right from layer cake center out to all the stuff they're doing with the Blueprint. Even though they talk about it, you can see it's not just talk. You can see how all the stuff lines up really well and positions, I think, a company like Pega and some of those that are really steeped in process and workflow automation, it really serves the purpose. And I think the one thing that when we had Alan on with us, he talked about how the way they look at using kind of their power consumption is we're looking at how we can figure out using LLMs to design the process and workflows, and then we use the horsepower in the design phase and that development runtime, not at production runtime. That's where you take all the stuff that the heavy token usage to build and design the workflows using the LLMs. You do that in there because it's a lot less cheaper, and then you actually use the run the LLMs during runtime, and that saves on even that power consumption and the token uses. This is completely optimizes what they're doing, which is really cool.
Well, Pega's concerns, meaning the things that prevent things from growing, say, exponentially, never have to do with their technology ever, or their overarching story ever. They're a brilliant company at so many different levels, but what they haven't done, I'd say, is they just haven't, they haven't made the effort to let it be known at the level it needs to be known.
Well, yeah, and we did get into a little bit of that during our watch party, and like I said, we'll put that up. You can see where it wasn't just us. I think it was a group consensus on some of that kind of stuff. But and one of the things they didn't really get into, at least during the keynote, was the pricing. But when we had Alan on with us, he said, some of the things that are their competitors are running into is something that we really won't run into. Is we're already optimizing so that we have a much more control over how we're consuming power for doing that. We're optimized for not running into that kind of problem where the more your customers use this stuff, the more it's going to cost us. They're already optimizing for those kind of scenarios, so at least they feel like they're going to have a little bit more control over that aspect, which we know there are some companies that don't want to talk about that stuff at all.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, look, Pega's they do so much right, but they don't. You know what? Creatio is kind of the same way. Creatio is actually, they're starting to overlap in markets, but they're just starting to do that. Creatio's handled the mid-market going up. Pega's handled the enterprise market and occasionally falls, not falls, but goes to the mid-market. But they're both converging on the territory NetSuite always is defined, right? So, but the biggest issue for Pega as well as a company like Creation is amplification. Really, that's the biggest issue, and they don't put the effort, time, and money into talking externally a lot beyond, you know, some things. Like I think they're trying a bit. Like we saw, I think they I can't remember what session it was, but where they showed the map of the places they're going to hold events in, what they call the sprint to print or whatever they call it.
Oh, you can't sprint without print.
Right, that was it. But you can't sprint without prints.
Yeah,
Get it?
Blueprints, basically.
No, I meant PRINCE.
Well, I never sprint without that.
That's what I mean. I'm making your point. So, you know, so they need to do. Look, they have to do this. Otherwise, they'll grow because they're that good. Technically, they're that good. They've got something here that's, you know, look, I don't call any product spectacular, but it's borderline that, right? And if you have that, you need to let the world know you have it. You don't have to be arrogant about it, but, you know, get out there, start participating in things external to yourself. You know, not only do your own stuff, get out, you know, do things. You know, like the companies who have been wildly successful, you know, like the Salesforces and Oracles. You know, you'll find them, like, on the one hand, they're at NRF. They've got 20 million videos out there of something they're doing. They have organized communities, you know, that are actively communicating throughout a year, not just at a conference. You know, they take all the things that you need to do to. It's not just good messaging; it's all the things you need to do to amplify who you are, what you do, and how you do it, and to look. Pega has a pretty distinct corporate culture, a lot of it driven by Alan, you know, but it's the kind of, you know, but they don't talk about it and you don't see it. You don't get to see it outside the conference, right? So things like that. I mean, look, we know a significant percentage of Salesforce's earliest success is due to their culture, right? You know, I mean, there's no number really attached to it. It's just people wanted to be part of something more than just a software sale, and Salesforce seemed to be the company to do that. And yeah, there's been ups and downs on that since, but it made Salesforce into, I'd say this, it kicked into gear what Salesforce has become in terms of its size and growth rates and so on and so forth over the years. And I think Pega just needs to do it. And if they don't do it, as I said, they'll grow, but they won't grow anywhere near at the level they could, given what they have there in their hands right now.
Yeah, and I think the way that they have architected this, and also they've already made changes to pricing. Apparently, you remember Alan said they don't do user-based pricing anymore.
Right.
So I think they're already shifted, and I'm gonna guess there's probably gonna be some more shifting because it's still early innings for a lot of this stuff.
Yeah,
and nobody really knows what it's gonna take from a power consumption standpoint to really nail this stuff and get what people need. So
look, you know, from that standpoint, you know, everything we've been hearing, again, I may be virtual, but I'm attending the conferences, you know, and it's all the same agentic stuff. Agentic, you know, as you pointed out, the one different one until Pega really was Jensen Huang talking ahead, you know, going even further into vision. And that I would say this is the second conference that's been very distinct. Yeah. Right. And it has something more to say than agentic.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's on his own level, Jensen, on what he's talking about. But yeah, he's way out there. It was actually really good to see some deviation because you go to a lot of these things, it's all sort of starts to bleed together. But that you know, that demo of that instance, that was interesting. And of course, you know, digging a little bit underneath the hood was good too. Now we did also shoot a couple of CRM Playaz eps. We're going to put those out on next Thursday. One with one of our favorites, Tara DeZal, or as I like to call her, the Wow.
Tara DeWow.
Yeah, who is
Tara DeWow,
Senior Director of Mad Tech, which is marketing tech and ad tech. I just like saying Mad Tech. I don't know. And do I have a little clip of her? Maybe a little teaser of you guys, you asking her a very profound question.
Oh, this was deep. This was like existential.
Here we go.
The coffee, a really good
Why is
coffee.
it
Yeah.
keep doing that?
I'm lost, man. I have a lot that I like, but I'm looking for one to
Like she's looking for a new
love.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
You are expert.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, my favorite coffee is Cafe Vita.
Okay.
And I don't know if you can get it. You're in the DC area?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll send you some.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. This
I'll
worked
send
out
you
better
some.
than I thought.
But then I might have to wean you off of it because you won't be able to
good?
get it.
Well, can I order it online?
You might be able to.
I'll try. I will
Yeah.
try Cafe Vita.
Cafe Vita, so good.
Okay.
Best coffee ever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I've got to do the part B on that. Why? What makes it so good?
It's just really strong without like upsetting your stomach. It's like, really well balanced. Just like when you smell it, it just hits you.
My goodness.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm not even a coffee drinker.
Yeah, it's just
am
like
so in on
so
this
potent.
Cafe Vita.
Yeah.
And that's been the coffee segment of the CRM Playaz. Really nice.
Coffee.
All right, so
Coffee clutch.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a coffee drinker myself, but
Well, you know what? She and I have been in touch since the conference, and there will be Cafe Vita on the way here.
it's on
I
the
will-
way.
It's coming. So I will actually give a review of Cafe Vita on a future show.
Nice. And then I think I have one last clip. And this is something that I got a chance to go out on the Innovation Hub. And I don't know how long this has been going on, but at least the last several years, because Alan is a chess master. During the PegaWorld events, he literally plays like 10 or 15 people in chess at the same time. And I had never really seen this up close before. So I did go out there. I was getting a little demo, and then I said, "Oh wow, they're getting ready to start this tournament thing." So I just have a little clip of that, and just count how many people Alan does a move against, and this is like a minute long clip. So this is Alan Treffler, chess master, playing like 10 or 15 people at the same time.
So if you want to learn how to play chess, the first thing you will want to do is try to get control of the center of the board. And the reason for that, and the way you can remember it, is that that's what you
Probably
do
about
in
10,
virtually
looks
every
like.
activity that you're involved in sport.
So I think he's already made
if you're
2
playing
moves.
tennis, you're generally going to try to
Turn this down a little bit. I think he made that's the third person he just made a move against.
same thing if you're
I don't know what happened there.
Look
That
at
was
somebody's
that,
weave.
that was 4.
Oh, there's more. I didn't know
That
the
was
table went that
5.
long. Yeah.
That was 6.
What drinking there?
Go juice.
Looks like one of those bubble things.
Now we're up to 7.
Oh my God! I didn't realize the table was that long. Probably closer to 15.
There. And now look how casual and cool and calm he is doing it. And I think that's number 8.
I think he already. I wasn't sure because I don't really play chess, but there was the first one, the young woman he was with.
Yeah, I
doing,
think he might have already beat her.
that's what I think happened.
And I
He
think that was
he
only,
already
like-
beat her.
I think that was only the second, because I didn't get it the first time around. I think that was the second time around. So he beat her in 2 moves, maybe.
Yeah, because I saw him checkmate her.
And he's
Well-
just doing it all cool, drinking his, having his drink, walking around.
That's
And-
amazing.
And he was in his element. I mean, you could tell he enjoyed. Like that's once all the big stuff is done and all the keynotes and all that. That's his way of relaxing.
Yep. It's amazing. I just not a chess player. But I mean, think about it. They showed Alan is, when we say chess master, we mean like his actual.
He's a real deal. Yeah.
He's a real chess master, not just a master at chess. Hyperbolically or anything. He is a named chess master, and they actually had him on the cover of Chess Master magazine, and they showed the cover. It had come out like that morning, right? And it was 18-page article on him.
Yeah, it was a full spread.
Yeah, whole big deal from basically chess master to tech whiz or something. Um, Tech wizard. I think that's what it was. From chess master to tech wizard. And there was a big old picture of him. Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. So once again, we'll make sure when we put up, because there was some really good commentary from the whole crew on their impressions, mostly of the first day. But I think we all also thought, because we did do a watch party for the second day, and that featured Don Shoreman, who is the chief technology officer, and Rob Adams?
No, Rob Walker.
Rob Walker. Where did I get Adams from? Rob
I have
Walker.
no idea.
What's his fit like chief?
He's like chief scientist. I
Yeah.
think that's not his actual title exactly, but that's what he is.
Well, yeah, he heads up all their AI stuff.
Right. All their research too.
Yeah.
I mean, everything. He's a brilliant guy and great person too.
So yes, and we did do a watch party for that. We'll have to figure out, because we definitely focus on the opening keynote, because as we've been saying, that's the one where you have everybody's attention, and we think that you really have to. You got what, 60 minutes, maybe.
Well,
2
they had
hours.
an hour and a half apparently.
Yeah, they went. Yeah, they went along, but you don't. It's not a whole lot of time, and you have to figure out the best way to utilize that time, because all eyes are on you. The most eyeballs you're gonna get anytime in a year is when you're doing your opening keynote at your own user conference.
Yep.
So we really skew heavily toward what goes on there. Although this day 2 was really great.
Yeah, it was better.
Yeah,
Actually. Well, I'm not going to say anything about that because we'll let the clip speak for itself.
Yep. So, any last thoughts before we head out?
No, really. I oddly was very happy to see well, I guess one last thought. It's a very simple one. The other thing that it's hard to not think about Pega is they're really nice people there.
Awesome people.
Oh, they really are. The whole crew. I mean, one of the things it's interesting there when we were dealing with Lisa Pinkman and we're dealing with Elaine Ryan,
Sean Audette.
Ryan, and we're dealing with Sean Audette, Joe Richardson. I mean, they're all of those guys are just tremendous human beings and incredibly helpful. Like, for example, I wanted to talk to someone who was senior in partners. I named one person, but that person, they actually wanted to kick me 2 levels up, and they went and found time so I could do that, so that person could talk with me. And I mean, that was on. Usually when you go to these conferences, if you got a one-to-one, it's long planned and there's no real leeway. But in this case, they've figured out a way to make the time. They're so helpful and so cooperative. A huge shout out to their AR, their influencer team, because they actually do think of it that way. Because they had the media and the analysts there. It was the other thing that was kind of interesting about that is we only knew maybe 5, including ourselves, 5 people, which is Liz, Brian, and Keith Kirkpatrick, and so we met some new people there too. But I do think, and I did speak with them about this, that there's a lot of people in our world, a lot of people those who are watching the show today or whenever know already because they've been on our show or they've met them some conference or something in our world who I think would love to know Pega better,
Yeah.
And I am making it, since I am a now semi-retired fellow, I am making it a personal mission to send a list off to them of analysts who I think would love to meet Pega. And I will personally talk to the analysts to make sure that I'm sending a hot list, so to speak. Because I just think more. Oh, hey, Sean, thank you again, man. It was just awesome.
Yeah, the whole crew.
It's just wonderful. So because I really think there's a lot more analysts who need to really, really get to know Pega the same way that they say no to Zoho or Salesforce or something like that. So Pega really needs to, and I think on the conversely, Pega really needs to know them, right? So it's time, and I'm making it a mission for it to happen.
You're making it a mission?
Yes, I am. Well, I'm not making it a vision because my eyes are terrible. Best I'm 20/30, so that would be a failure right away.
Yeah. By the way, also a former Pega employee was there that we both like, Francis Carden. Shout out to Francis. He's going to be doing a few good minutes sometime down the line. So, and we enjoyed him there, and he's doing his own thing now. And once again, shout out to Adrian Swinsko, because he was kind of playing hurt and he wasn't able to make it physically over, but he was able to make it on the watch party. So we really,
as always, did wonderfully. Adrian's just wonderful guy. He attended IRL 2025 and loved it. And we love him too, though. I mean, what can I say?
And he's a Prince fan, and his wife is a Prince fan. So.
Apparently, a huge Prince. Not nobody's as huge Prince fan as you, but he's close.
Yeah, you know.
I mean, Prince's sister is probably a bigger fan than you.
Well, she passed away, unfortunately.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think earlier this year.
Oh,
yeah. But anyway, we want to end on a happy note. So I will, if you're going to be in Chicago next week for Connections, shout out, let me know. And also be on. I just got a few good minutes thing added to as we were sitting here. So I'll also be doing a few good minutes with Eric Zins, who is the SVP of product management for marketing applications. So that ought to be good. It's like Zenz, it's Z-E-N-Z.
Zenz.
Like,
does he bring the ass?
I was getting ready to say
Eric Zenz bringing the ass. Right.
Do you know what the as is?
I still don't have a clue. To me, it was always just the abbreviation for Arizona. So I have no idea what that, when Austin said it in the voiceover at the Varen thing, I have no idea what he was talking about. I mean, I know where he got it from, Playaz, but I have no idea what he thinks it meant.
Well, we'll ponder that over the weekend.
Good idea. I'm going to ponder it over watching the Yankees tonight after a very lackluster loss yesterday.
Maybe we'll go to the Ponderosa and ponder
it. No, that's the worst food ever.
Anyway, I'm Brent Leary.
I'm Paul Greenberg.
And you didn't get out of it. Stump the Godfather is just on hiatus, but it will definitely be back. I didn't want to use a good one where we might have a limited audience today because people might not have known we were going to be in today, but it's coming back, folks. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Okay. Well, we have one thing you have to do before we close, though.
Yes, it's been a little while,
but here she is.
We say hello and goodbye to Minnie. And to you.
Yeah.
See ya.